New Patreon. Yes, the next part of this color manga is available right now on my new Patreon to watch straight after this episode. This has been a hugely requested addition, but now you can finally see Ultra Vegito the way it was meant to. Every scene colored perfect to anime standards, just how I imagined it when I first drew it. So join now and be the first to see every episode from just $3 with more and more access at higher tiers. Link is in the description below and pinned comment. Enjoy. So our story continues with a portal opening on yet another strange planet, one with an icy landscape as snow falls rapidly. And out, popping from the portal, is the head and foot of our newly repaired and enhanced Ultra Vegito. It's cold out here. But despite the conditions, nothing could rain on Vegito's parade as he grips his android arm tightly, smiling as the artificial veins pump and bulge, commenting, I still can't believe how perfect that pensioner made this. I can practically taste Zeno's blood already. This arm will single-handedly delete those gods forever. Just you wait and see. As he holds his grip, he begins to once again think back on his goal, his motives, and all he has lost. Thinking back first on his granddaughter, beginning, Pan, I know you're not where you're supposed to be right now, but Grandpa's going to bring you back, along with Mommy and Daddy, along with everyone on Earth. I'm going to make everything right one day, and the first step will be ridding us of this disease amongst us. Zeno and the Daishinken, your days are numbered! And with his motivation back at an all-time high, he brings forth his angel staff, formerly owned by Whis, and holds it in front of him, looking down and letting out, Alright, enough! Time to do this. Take me to this universe's god of destruction! But suddenly, in typical fashion, things don't go as planned, as Vegito surprisingly senses a rising power level that's getting closer and closer. And in an instant, he looks upwards, and to his shock in the sky is a figure as Vegito yells, What? Is that a bird? No. What kind of bird has energy like that? I'm no bird, God Killer! I'm the protector of Universe 4, and you'll not step another foot further! And unbelievably in the air is none other than Ganos, the strongest fighter and leader of Universe 4's Tournament of Power team, shooting down from the sky with intensity and an energy blade in hand, not unlike exactly how the angel Kusu did before him. Not this time, punk! Fool me once, shame on you. But fool me twice, shame on me. But this time, Vegito is clearly ready, just starting up a smile until he immediately throws away the staff, not taking his eyes off Ganos for even a second, before in its place, in his right arm, the iconic Godslayer blade of Ultra Vegito extends. And Vegito then swipes it into place with speed, and with a menacing grin, yells out, You were slow back at the tournament, and 10 years later, nothing's changed! Begone, you amateur! And just like that, just as Ganos reaches within meters of Vegito, he is brutally and expertly stabbed through his torso by the blade made only for the gods. And in its wake, with blood spewing from his mouth, Ganos can only stare at Vegito in shock and mutter, No, Lord Kitella! And just as abruptly, then falls to the ground as Vegito mercifully removes his Godslayer blade. Ganos though is quick to get back barely on his feet, gripping his open wound as he groans in pain, barely even able to keep both his eyes open through the pain. Meanwhile though, with his blade retracted and his arms folded, Vegito smugly then tells Ganos, "Nice try, but you've got a long way to go before you can even shine my boots, let alone touch me. You're lucky, I didn't hit a vital point. Probably the first person in history to feel my Godslayer blade and live to talk about it. But if you don't get that stitched up soon, I'm not sure you'll be saying much. Get out of here! I'm here for your god, not a weakling like you." But Ganos, who is infuriated by Vegito's belittling words, mutters back, "You'll pay for this! That was just a lucky hit, and once I'm healed, you're done for. I only wish I did at least some damage to you. I feel like I've failed Lord Kitella." "You did!" Huh? But suddenly, a cold, icy shock runs down Ganos' spine, as from his side, a familiar voice calls to him. Swiftly, he then turns his head to see if it is who he thinks it is, yelling, "No! Is that you, Lord?" And as his eyes meet with the assailant, his skin goes pale, and his mouth agape, almost as if he has finally met his maker. "No! I tried my best! Please! Lord Kitella!" As standing there, truly unimpressed and menacingly, is revealed to be none other than Kitella, god of destruction of Universe 4, and his angel attendant, Cognac, who sports an equally cold stare. As Kitella continues, "How pathetic! Shame on me for ever relying on a filthy mortal. You failed me at the Tournament of Power, but at least there you did something. How can you even call yourself worthy of our universe, and my student no less, when you couldn't even scratch this Universe 7 vermin?" And in response, a pleading Ganos, who almost already knows what is coming, sports a terrified look as he cries out one final time, But, I didn't see his attack! He moved too fast! Please, it won't happen again!" "I know it won't! Hakai!" But without warning, or even a semblance of the mercy Vegito showed, Kitella places his arm out and destroys Ganos instantly. And with a deathly silence in the air, Ganos, the brave warrior of Universe 4, becomes no more, lost to the wind for eternity and never to be seen again, erased by the one god he served with utter loyalty to the very end. And with the horrific deed now done, the heartless god reveals a smirk on his face as if pleased at his actions, and adds salt to the wound, saying, "Pitiful, truly pitiful. Ganos, you are not worthy to even exist in my universe, let alone fight by a god's side. With that trash out of the way, I can finally fight without restraint." And just as coldly, Cognac adds in agreement, "Agreed, my lord. To think even with our personal training, that was the most he could amount to. We shall find a fitting replacement for him after disposing of our guest here." "You!" But Vegito, meanwhile, has not kept his cool in the slightest, incensed by witnessing just the kind of act that spurred him to erase all the gods in the first place. His power level can't help but shoot forth as a dark electricity generates all around him, and he lets out, "You damn gods are all the same! Why? Why would you need to erase him? He fought for you! To his last moments, his only thoughts were about letting you down. This disgusting system has given you the power to erase him without consequence? This is exactly why I do what I do! With immediately a thunderous roar, Vegito yells at the top of his voice, no longer able to contain his rage and power anymore, as his hair begins to spike and his eyes flash, making it seem a mystery what form he is going into. But in a surprising turn of events, Vegito enters his Super Saiyan 2 form. His hair fully spiked, his eyes emerald green, and his aura yellow. But noticeably, the electricity that surrounds him is instead a dark black purple in color. Prepare yourself, you damn rat! I'm coming for your tail! Coming for my... But watching Vegito, Kitella is just left puzzled. Partly by what he's saying, but mostly by his transformation, as he turns to his attendant and asks, Cognac, that form, isn't that just one of the weaker and more generic forms those Saiyans use? I believe even Champa's Universe 6 Saiyans could do that. Why isn't he using his full power? But Cognac, looking on at Vegito with an equally puzzled face, can only respond, I don't know, my lord. There are some differences, but judging by the power level I'm sensing, it's far from his maximum. He may be testing your abilities. Stay on guard regardless, my lord. But suddenly, before the pair can discuss any more, Vegito, surrounded in his aura and his mystery dark electricity shooting forth from his body, he is finally ready to fight, yelling once more, Stop squeaking about! You say Ganos wasn't worth a thing? But I'll show you, you aren't worth me using even 10% of my power! What? But the extremely narcissistic god, hearing this blasphemy, is immediately angered, reacting back, How dare you underestimate a deity? Beerus must have told you nothing of Kitella, but you'll learn today, God Killer! As in response, Lord Kitella too then powers up, as his pupils disappear and her Kaishin energy surrounds his body completely, as he now enters his max destruction god form. Jumping quickly in at Vegito, leaving his attendant as he says, Stay behind, Cognac! Don't interfere until this cocky mortal starts taking this seriously! As immediately, Kitella and Vegito's fists collide for massive impact, with not only Kitella trying hard, but also noticeably, Vegito pushing himself to keep up while in this form. But as Kitella cocks back his fist to punch Vegito, a smile comes back across Vegito's face as he thinks, That's it, Mickey Mouse! Do as the Pied Piper says! With Kitella's first punch being grabbed directly by the palm of Vegito's left arm. And similarly to Kitella's kick as well, while Vegito keeps a close eye on exactly how he's stopping each attack. And soon when it comes time for Vegito to throw out his own punch, it too is stopped in its tracks, this time by Kitella, highlighting there being no real difference between the two in power. Instantly, the two would then vanish simultaneously to continue their battle. All the while, Kitella's angel attendant Cognac watches on with a look of concern. This is going better than expected. Collision after collision would then be seen in the air above, as the two fight on an equal level, trading and parrying each other's blows, but once more, as Cognac observes closer from down below, he begins to think introspectively, Something isn't right. Lord Kitella is keeping up, but he should be winning while Vegito is in this form. Why isn't that Saiyan even going for the kill? Is he enjoying the battle? If this goes on any longer, I may need to intervene regardless of Kitella's wishes. But soon, the dynamic of the battle begins to change, as Kitella's attack misses for the first time. Lucky dodge, punk! Take this! Following this, Kitella launches a powerful kick, and this time it lands, but Vegito neither blocks nor parries it, as his body doesn't even flinch from its impacts. What? What just happened? Why did that not feel right? But before Kitella could wonder any more about what just happened, Vegito grabs onto the god's ankle, and most importantly, with his left arm once again. Let go! Let go! Kitella for a moment struggles hard, but it feels like Vegito's grip is a clamp that cannot be broken. Ordinarily, nothing like this should be able to stop a god of destruction from moving, but something truly is off. Forget it! If you desire to be so close to me, then feel the wrath of my Hakai! Ha! Reaching out his palm eagerly to the flinchless Vegito until, in a thoroughly anticlimactic end, nothing but a puff of smoke comes out of Kitella's hand, while Vegito looks at it to his left with a complete poker face, as if expecting it the whole time, only letting out. So what part of that was supposed to be a Hakai, Mickey? What? What is this? Where has my power gone? What have you done? As suddenly, a frightful look comes across Kitella's face as he finally begins to realize what's been going on. Immediately, he falls to his knees, his palms slamming the ground, as the mouse now stares at the ground on all fours, having reverted back to his base state by force. He can hardly believe what's going on as he mutters in confusion. What happened? My energy, it's gone. I'm exhausted. This is impossible. But soon, as we are treated to an image of the energy absorption bead within the center of Vegito's left arm, it all becomes clear to us, as Vegito looks down with a smirk and lets out, My, this energy absorption device Dr. Giro built truly is something else. It works so much faster than I anticipated. Or maybe that's just the effect of my spirit fission. I didn't even need to power up much at all to drain you down to nothing. Thanks for all of that sweet, sweet destruction energy. It's all mine now. All yours? It can't be. What is he talking about? When would he have even... No, don't tell me. As suddenly a flashback comes to Kitella, which explains exactly where he must have had his energy stolen. As he thinks back to his fight and notices at every point, every punch, kick and grab, Vegito was using his left arm. The one android arm he possesses, which has Giro's energy absorption device. I knew it! I knew it! And from afar, also realizing the trickery that has just befell his lord, fury bubbles within the angel Cognac until... You damn god killer! Get away from Lord Kitella! As in an outburst like none other, the angel screams out for his god and student, instantly activating his ultra instinct, before with angelic speed rushing straight at Vegito, knowing all too well what the god killer will do now as he yells, Lord Kitella, I cannot stand any longer. The minute you die, my powers will disappear too. I must fight to save us both. But with a turn of his head and an evil smirk on his face, Vegito calmly says, I'm well aware of what happens to you when that happens, and I can't have that. He won't die, not until I'm done taking your powers too. What? Take my powers too? Has he lost his mind? An angel's power is not of energy. It is of our very life force itself, formed by Father. Surely, that device cannot absorb that too. But before Cognac can even fathom Vegito's nonsensical claims, Vegito vanishes. But without warning, the angel then finds himself suddenly covered in an ominous darkness as he looks up and sees something unbelievable. And there, levitating in the air, surrounded in a giant apparition of himself, created solely from his mastered Ultra Instinct aura, is Ultra Vegito, now in his final form, ready to finish Cognac, as the angel can only step back in fear and mutter, "What is that?" But staring down like a god himself, turning the tables, Vegito looks down at Cognac coldly and remarks, "Remember this feeling, Angel. This feeling of hopelessness. This feeling of being completely outclassed and overpowered. Killed for no reason other than being lower in the food chain. This is the feeling Ganos and all the other countless people you and Kitella have erased felt in their final moments. And now, these will be yours." Which leaves Cognac nothing short of stunned, unable to even form sentences as he thinks on Vegito's poignant words and just how much conviction he has behind them. Until suddenly, as expected, Ultra Vegito makes his move, as the large apparition begins raising its hands and bringing them closer to a panicking Cognac until, in an instantaneous and rough swoop, giant Ultra Vegito slams his palms together surrounding the angel, trapping him and restricting his movement entirely as the deity screams in agony. And mercilessly, giant Ultra Vegito then crushes further and further Cognac's body, as his very bones break and shatter within his body and blood leaks from the very cracks of Vegito's fists. As the giant Vegito laughs with a downright evil look from behind. Soon though, the true and real Vegito eventually levitates down to the completely incapacitated angel, and with a gratified smile lets out, "So, how does it feel? Sorry for the tight grip. I just want you to hold still while I take all that angelic power." But the now near-death angel mutters back still in defiance, You fool! Whatever that mortal-made monstrosity is, it will have no effect on an angel. I was handcrafted by the one true Grand Priest himself, as were all my brothers and sisters. My very being and body is my strength. It's the very reason our powers can be switched off at an instant on the death of our destroyers. Try all you want, but you will absorb nothing. But it seems Vegito's response at first is only to crush the angel's body even more for his insolence. Until finally, with his left hand raised to his face and a sinister smile, Ultra Vegito reveals, "Thanks for the information, but you must not know just how much your dear brother Whis told me about you angels. Rest assured, I came prepared for just this very moment. And suddenly, in a shocking turn of events, the hand of Ultra Vegito's android arm snaps right off, holding on by a single joint, as in its place reveals a mystery needle that may seem instantly recognizable to any of us OG Dragon Ball Z fans. But the surprises don't end there, as immediately following forth, a one-to-one copy of the same technology used to create Cell's tail shoots rapidly out from Vegito's forearm, as it is revealed yet another of Vegito's special upgrades that he specifically asked from the Doctor. He now possesses not only the infinite energy engine, energy absorption, but also the life force training of imperfect Cell. And with rapid movement, the tail makes its move as if almost moving by itself, and within nanoseconds... What is this? It stabs directly into the jugular vein of the confused Cognac. Just as fast working as the energy absorption beads, the effects of the life drain are instant, as Cognac screams of pain quickly dissolve into quiet moans as his skin collapses inwards. Meanwhile, watching in pleasure, Ultra Vegito remains with a smile thinking, I can feel it. I can feel his divine energy become one with my own. To think that damn Cell had the pleasure of doing this over and over. Greedy bug. And as Vegito thinks, Cognac is left to be a mess of inward, caving flaps of skin, until finally, in a horrific image, not a trace more of his life force remains, leaving behind just a husk of the former divine entity. Of course, watching this all unfold from a distance is still the completely exhausted and energyless Kitella, just barely crawling to one knee, before with a look of pure fear that has never struck a god so hard before, he watches the bizarre creature Vegito literally absorb the very flesh and organic matter of his angel before him, all through a green tail that shot forth from his robotic arm, as he mutters, This is a Saiyan? What kind of monsters are they? But Vegito, now done with his angel victim, retracts immediately the tail, shutting his hand back onto his forearm once again like nothing happened. And with his arm back in one piece, for a moment he stares at his fist, assimilating the immense divine energy he has just taken in, thinking, amazing! 6 gods and 6 angels remain. With their power added on, I can't even begin to imagine what I will finally unleash on those 2 midgets. Referring of course to the Grand Priest and Zeno. Before without a word more, Ultra Vegito then turns his body and aims his right hand towards Kitella and the now dropped on the ground husk of Cognac, and yells, Akai! Blasting forth the signature finisher of God Killer Vegito. And just like that, without the 2 deities literally being able to do a thing, Kitella yells, No! You monster! As he turns to dust, and the already deceased angel, who is nothing more than a bag of skin now, also then returns to the universe as particulate matter. And with now 2 more gods added to his kill list, Vegito finally descends from the sky and lands with a thud on the ground. But before long, Vegito grabs onto his stomach and grins widely as something uncontrollable builds within him. An uncontrollable laughter. Fear my wrath, you remaining deities, for I am the God Killer! Maniacally laughing in victory as his newfound power explodes from his body, and a truly immense aura that shakes the universe itself is shot forward. And from afar, as the scene pans out, we see the scope of the fluxing aura. But on an even greater pan out, we see finally that Vegito is in fact being watched again in a crystal ball. But this time, by none other than the Grand Priest himself, making his first appearance since he knocked out Ultra Vegito all those years ago, as he looks down with a dark look of disapproval and says, "Zeno-sama, remind me, when exactly do you want me to do something about this? How far do we let this circus go on? When all our gods and angels have gone missing?" To which we then finally see Zeno with a blank and lifeless expression unlike any we have ever seen before. And he responds, "Not yet. Not yet." But that was it for today's video, guys, and if you made it this far, leave me a hashtag color in the comments down below, and head over to my new Patreon right now to see the next episode with this insane artwork. Ultra Vegito fully colored, voice acted, soundtracked, and edited the way it was always meant to be seen. Starting from just $3, it's the deal of the century.